What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Properties and Pour-Overs podcast. My name is Adam Colburn, and today I have a very special guest, my friend Iva Norris. What's going on, Eva?
Hey Adam, how are you doing?
I'm doing
Oh,
fantastic. I hope
yeah,
you're doing
everything's
well.
great. Yes.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Really appreciate you sharing some of your time to get to know about your business. So, just to introduce yourself to the listeners, can you tell me where you're located in the country and what your business looks like currently?
Currently, I am located in Illinois,
Awesome.
Chicago. And I just moved here 15 months ago from Dallas, Texas. So
Okay.
my business and my portfolio is in Texas. I've just got here, so I'm going to start buying properties in Illinois as well.
Love it. Very
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. And so, what brought about the transition from Texas to Chicago?
My son is going to the university here in Chicago, Art
Okay.
School Institute.
Yeah.
So I came to be close to him. He's the youngest, so.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Very
Now I
cool.
have to buy properties here, right? To distract myself.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. You want to be close to him, but you also don't want to like be the helicopter mom. So, hey, let me go
Oh
do my
yeah.
build my own business over here.
Yeah.
Cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. And so how
Mhm.
long did you say you've been in the space?
Over 20 years.
Wow, that's amazing. Lots of
Mhm.
experience. And so I guess let's peel back the curtain. Like 20
Mhm.
years ago, what did life look like before real estate for you?
Oh my gosh. So 20 years ago, I met my American husband in Brazil, got married, and moved to America, Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
No English, no money, no experience.
Yeah.
So then I found, and of course, I just had a hope because I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, of course, everybody.
Of course. Yeah.
And then when I got to America, I said, yes, now is my chance. So what I try to do is that I have to buy properties, but how I do that?
Yeah.
So listening to what Robert Kiyosaki says, okay, first thing what he said to do, join a real estate investor association. And
Hmm.
that's exactly what I did. And okay, so it was amazing because it was a non-for-profit REIA
Hmm.
where teaching all the time. They have like two, three sections per day, and I
Wow.
was there learning. So 3 years later, I had bought 28 properties without spending any of my own money
Wow.
because I didn't have any, right? So I have to
Yeah.
figure out how to do. So I was buying properties for these families that they couldn't afford to make the payment for the mortgage anymore.
Sure.
And so I even have a letter with this gentleman said, thank you so much for take that out of my shoulders. I thought I was
Hmm.
prepared, but I wasn't.
Wow.
So,
So from the
yeah.
beginning, you were buying houses subject to?
Yes, actually I was, and at the time was um, option to purchase.
Okay.
Yeah, because we talk subject to all the time, so every time
Hmm.
I talk to, so
Right.
yes, option to purchase because that's what they're doing. That's what I learned. If
Gotcha.
that was a wrap at the time, I don't know,
Sure,
but
sure.
that's what I was doing. So I
That's
was,
awesome. Yeah, that's super interesting that you've been doing it for that long and kind of full circle.
yeah.
Um, so what is that's your main model, right? Is to buy them from somebody that's struggling, take them
Mhm,
over Subto or option to purchase, and then you
mhm.
would turn around and sell them to somebody that can't get traditional financing?
Yeah, actually, what I was doing, I was buying from the seller that couldn't pay mortgage anymore.
Yep.
And then I will find a family that wants to rent to own.
Okay.
So a lease option. So then they give me $5,000 down.
Hmm.
And then 2, 3 years later, they will finance and
Gotcha.
take my equity out.
Yeah, yeah. So like a sandwich lease option. Love it.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I learned.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Um, that's really cool. So you start in Georgia.
Yeah.
When did the move to Texas happen? How long were you in Georgia building your
Oh my
portfolio?
gosh. There's so much in between that. So you
Yeah.
want all of it?
Yeah, let's hear it.
So yeah, so in Georgia, so
Hmm.
then we sold most of our properties to get into multifamily,
Okay.
but then GFC came, right? The global crisis, financial
Hmm.
crisis came, and then we thought, okay, so let's wait a little bit and see what happened because we're gonna enter in a new market,
Yeah.
not know anything about in this crisis. So, and then we decided to move to Brazil. My husband was transferred there for with KPMG.
Okay.
So then in Brazil, when I got in Brazil, I had bought some properties there. Actually, it's very interesting. I bought with my husband's 401k here from Equity Trust in Brazil. I got a block of land.
Wow.
And yeah, so and then when I got there, I started to develop this land and sell lots installments,
Okay.
5, 7 years.
Hmm.
And I decided to open a Century 21 agencies.
In Brazil.
Actually, the agencies because it was three, right? So
Wow.
I opened one, two, three. And so yeah, so then I had like over 50 agents working for me, and I got the Centurion, the highest reward for Century 21.
Yeah, the brokerage.
But I didn't like it. It's too
Mm.
much work. So
Yeah.
I was working too much. And I said, that's it's not for me. Thank God my husband was transferred to Australia. So then, okay, there we go to Melbourne, Australia. There I start over again.
Hmm.
So and then there what I did, I opened a property development company where I was partnering with homeowners to subdivide and develop their land without they have to spend any money.
Yeah.
Why? So,
Hmm.
so I would come and build two properties, and they get one, I'll get one. So
Wow.
it was
Love it.
beautiful because
Yeah,
then
that's
I
kind of it's kind of like a pseudo novation model where they bring the land, you bring the other infrastructure, and then you can kind of you both profit on the back end. That's really cool. I love that.
Absolutely. That's what I was doing there. It was so much fun. And then I stayed in Australia for 6.5 years. And then my husband got an offer to come back to Texas with KPMG. And
Gotcha.
so that's what happened. We came to
Yeah.
Texas. And again, now we were 10 years away from America.
Hmm.
I have to start all over again, open a business, learn creative finance. I got a mentor and I learned everything about subject to wrap around, and much more.
Yeah.
So I've been doing sales and build up my portfolio again. And I have a combination of rentals and also wraps.
Yeah.
But the part that I love about wraps is to help these families that cannot qualify for a traditional loan. So
Definitely. Yeah.
that's the best. I
That's
love
incredible. What a story. That's a crazy experience. Building a brokerage and then a development business in a different country. Like
it.
that's very impressive. So what is the differences of like the real estate market in Brazil and Australia compared to America? Like are there big differences or what does that look like? I've never really even
Huge,
thought to do anything internationally. So,
huge difference. Oh
yeah,
my God. That was every properties that I bought, everything that I did was creative, even in Brazil.
love
So
it.
when I was in Brazil, so I got this developer,
Hmm.
and I decided to buy 100 lots, right, with him. And then I bought these lots, and then I had now to sell the lots. And this developer had like 400 lots, and I bought 100. So I started to market this property for sale installment because that's the idea, right? Like
Sure.
very like $4 for a lot, and I was
Wow.
still selling for between 30 and $70,000 per
Hmm.
lot, but installments, right?
Sure.
So very affordable.
Yeah.
And so then I sold everything in 3 months. I said, "Oh my gosh, what I'm going to do now because I don't have more inventory."
Yeah.
I got back to the developer, said, "You still have those lots?" He said, "Yes." I said, "Okay, send me your ledger. How much you're selling this lots for? I'm going to make a proposal to sell them for you." He said, "Okay." So he sent it to me, and that was $6 million, the total inventory he was trying to sell for that
Hmm.
installment as well for 10 years, 7 to 10 years.
Sure.
And then, so, but then I compare with my ledger when I sold my properties, I was selling between 30 to $70,000
Hmm.
reais, right? And then he was selling between like 12 to
Right.
18,000,
Yeah.
20,000.
You're doubling. Yeah.
So then I came up with an offer and told him, okay, so this is what I'm going to do for you. I'm going to sell your lots, but every 6 lots that I sell, I get one.
Nice.
And besides, you're going to pay the commission for the realtor
Mm.
local. And I'm doing all of this from Australia.
Yeah.
So then you're going to pay the agent 2,000, that was 2,000 reais.
Sure.
And also you're going to pay for the marketing for this property. And then he said, that is 10%. Actually, no, this is 25%, commission. And
Hmm.
I said, yes, but my ledger is 9 million and yours is 6. So I'm giving you extra $3 million,
Right.
in sales that you
Hmm.
didn't have. He said, yeah, you got a point. Okay.
I'll do it. Yeah.
So yeah,
That's
that
a, oh wow, that's
was
amazing.
beautiful. Yeah,
Yeah.
very quickly start to sell again and got the team there because I got the vein, right? You know what to do. So
Yeah.
I can't lose this momentum. So
Yeah.
it was
That's
beautiful.
super cool. So out of the three countries, which one did you enjoy the real estate market the most, if any? Like I'm like it's all a game. We all love this stuff and you're doing a little bit different things in each
Yeah.
individual place. But was there one in particular that you enjoyed the most?
Because I am a person that loves challenge.
Yeah.
Australia was the more challenging one because I was in Georgia buying properties for 100 to $150,000.
Right.
And then when I went to Australia, I say, yes, party, I'm gonna do what I was doing in Atlanta. No, because the average price of the properties there were $1 million.
Wow.
So I said, yeah. So that's why I have to be creative. I said, okay, what can I do?
Hmm.
Because I couldn't get sellers to finance because everybody has so much money there.
Yeah. They don't
There's
want
a
to wait.
shortage of property all the time.
Yeah.
So it was crazy because even families, locals, they could not buy properties because the Chinese community were buying everything. Oh,
Interesting.
there's not a chance. They said, okay, what can I do? So
Yeah.
then I figured out that 70% of the population in Australia, actually in Melbourne, they own their property free and clear. And also they are retired and the money for retirement is really low and
Hmm.
they fix up the property. So they are living in very bad condition, the
Right.
property falling apart in
Yeah.
a prime location. And I said, oh my gosh, that's what I'm going to do. So it works perfectly. Yeah,
That's awesome.
that's beautiful. I even wrote a book on the subject, right? On
Really
the cash in your backyard without spending any of your money. That's
amazing.
it.
That's
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
beside it's beautiful,
Yeah,
beside
sure.
it's really beautiful.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Very cool. That's amazing. And so what does your team look like right now? I know you've transitioned recently from Texas to Chicago, but like over the years, are you guys keeping it pretty lean and mean? It's just you and your husband or maybe a couple other people on the team? Tell me what that looks like.
okay, so I always had overseas people.
Okay.
Still have them there. I have like a acquisition, operations, and assistant, and bookkeeper.
Hmm.
And I just hired a marketing person here in Illinois to
Yeah.
help with marketing.
Hmm.
So, and that's my team. It's about, what is that, 4 or 5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Still pretty
And
small though.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
more. And now I'm looking for the disposition person
Okay.
to open up the market and start to selling.
Sure. Yeah. And so for those VAs that you brought in, are you
Mhm.
going through an agency or did you hire these people directly? Like, how did you find your team? Because I know a lot of people utilize VAs in some capacity in their business, and I've heard like horror stories from certain agencies or kind of the give and take, right, of going after one person directly. Like, can you kind of share on what your process was for hiring those people, and also how long have they been with you?
Yeah, so my process was just go to Hub Staff and jobs, uh,
PH.
right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, that's what I was doing. But because I want them to be Spanish speaker, because
Hmm.
90% of my customers they are Spanish speaker because they are the buyers.
Sure.
And so yeah, actually I got lucky because I got my girl,
Hmm.
my operations person, and she is an engineer, but just had graduated. Actually, she's was still studying when she came with me,
Okay.
and I taught her everything, and with my partner as well. That my mentor became my partner. So
Hmm.
then we're teaching her everything. So today she is running my entire department. She's the general manager, and she's amazing.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Love it. Very cool.
Yeah, all the others, the same thing. The last acquisition person was in Egypt because I heard that their English is
Really
perfect.
good English. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was so lucky that I found this girl that she was in New York,
Hmm.
uh, working and purchasing, work with the sellers, right, and buying these properties
Yeah.
and all the negotiation about the errands and everything. So she is a closer. So I said, perfect, because I
That's
want to get
awesome.
out of the position of closer, right?
Sure, yeah. Yeah, buy that
Yeah,
time back. Love
yeah.
it. Very cool. And so I know now we're both in owners club together with Pace, right? And so he's kind of challenged us with this Mount Everest, this big goal that we're going to chase after over the next 3 to 5 years. That's too
Yes.
big for us to do by ourselves, right? And so what is your Mount Everest? Have you kind of crafted that and what you want to chase over after the next few years?
Absolutely. I did that even before joining the Honors Club. I
Hmm.
already had my Mount Everest, is starting on it already.
Yeah.
And then it is to help 500 families to buy their homes. And the ones that cannot qualify, so then we can be the bank for them.
Hmm.
That's my Mount Everest because
Love
that's
it.
my passion, right? Help
Yeah.
the families to buy their homes.
Absolutely.
And
It's hugely impactful because there's so many people. I mean, I can't remember the statistic. Maybe you know it.
85%
Yeah,
of the population
it's
cannot
incredibly high.
qualify. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy how many people can't get financing. And even it's the the business owners, right? The non W-2 workers that make
Yeah.
a ton of money, but they either haven't had their business long enough or they're not showing it all on their tax returns, so they can't get traditional financing,
Yeah.
are still left out. And so being able to provide an option for them for home ownership is hugely valuable. So I love that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's amazing. And every time that I sell a house to them, I get their testimony, right? Because I
Yeah.
want to see their happiness, and it's so amazing. And
Yeah.
there was this couple once that they purchased my house like for $85,000,
Hmm.
and finance and everything. And then I called them, they did the interview after the closing, and she was talking to me. And at the other side, somebody was screaming. I said, "What is that?" My husband, he's so happy. And they say, "Thank you." And
That's
oh my gosh,
awesome.
bring him to the camera. He said, "He can't, he's too excited." That was funny. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
I love
amazing.
that.
I
Yeah.
love that. That's so good. Very cool. That's
Mhm.
awesome. And so obviously you've been in the game for quite some time. You've gone through all kinds of different iterations in your business, and we all know that entrepreneurship's not without challenges. Can you describe one like big roadblock that you've had in your journey and kind of the mindset that you had to get to overcome that obstacle?
The roadblock. Hmm. So many. How do I pick?
Right? It could be early on in business, it could be like even recently, but just some big challenge that you had to overcome and kind of the mindset you had to get to get over it, right?
So just the fact that I was moving
Hmm.
place to place,
Yeah,
country as well,
sure.
states, I had to reinvent myself every single time.
Yeah.
And when I got back to Dallas, Texas, and I first thing I did, I joined a REIA, right? But there was a coaching program, so that I joined and start to learn.
Hmm.
But it was so difficult. The entire year, I couldn't get any deal done. I
Mm,
couldn't get contract. So things didn't work out, right? I was doing everything. I was door knocking, I was doing, I sent yellow letters,
right.
cold calling, everything,
All the
nothing.
things. Yeah.
And then there was one time my husband said, "Hey, you have to do something." And I promised to him, okay, if I don't get a property by the end of 2019, I will find a job or do something else, but no property. Okay, we got a deal.
Yeah.
So then what happened was I sent the yellow letters, right, for 6 months in a row, nothing.
Yeah.
And so 30th of December, this lady called me for the yellow letter, like
Yeah.
eviction. And then she said, "Hey, I want to sell my house, da, da, da." Long story short, I said, "I'm coming." I
Yeah.
wrote, "Yeah, I'm coming." Pick up my husband, say, "Let's go." That's, that's, let's see what happened here because I
Sure.
had to take my career,
Yeah. The
right?
last day. Yeah.
So when I got there, this lady was there on her walker and on her respirator. And
Hmm.
gosh, don't you die on me. I
Yeah.
need to buy your house first. So I know it's cruel, but yeah. So I said, okay. So, but we stayed there and
Hmm.
negotiated with her because her house was a hoarder. A
Sure.
hoarder, no, actually, it's quite is squatters got
Okay.
in. The house
Yep.
was a her rental, actually, was
Hmm.
in. So, anyways, and then we stayed for 2 hours and negotiating and negotiating. And then she started, okay, so let's go to my house now because I have to go home and get something to eat. They said, okay, let's go. I'm
Yep.
following you. I'm not gonna let her go anywhere.
Right.
So then I stayed there for another 2 hours
Yep.
and negotiating. And then she had like the neighbor there. And what do you think, neighbor? Gosh, okay. So then it said, when it's okay, let's do that. They said, oh, wait a minute. My sister-in-law is coming. Can you hold on? Oh, no. That sister-in-law was so mean.
Yeah.
And I said, doesn't matter what, I'm gonna get this deal. So
Right.
anyway, and this lady started to get like lose air because of her respirator, right?
Been
So
talking too long.
we had a tank.
Oh
I
my
said, and then she
goodness.
started to pray always, oh my gosh, do you need help? Do you need food? Okay, so darling, go get some food.
Yeah.
So anyways, after 4 hours, she decided to say yes. And we
Wow.
signed the contract right there. I said,
Yeah.
thank God, I saved my career.
Yeah. You earned it too. 4 hours negotiating. Wow.
Yeah.
That's a
So
long
that's what
one.
yeah. So I have a really good reason to stay there and get that contract. And
Sure.
that
Absolutely.
was an amazing deal. I got for $202,000, a lot of repairs. I spent $100,000
Hmm.
renovating the house, and then I sold recently because my husband decided to live in the property.
Hmm.
I hate it because what my $100,000 equity, what I
It's
do?
stuck in here. Yeah.
I was waiting for it. Now I can't. Oh my gosh. So yeah. So then, but just recently I sold before I moved here to
Hmm.
Illinois. I
Yeah.
sold for $550,000
Wow.
a
Amazing.
wrap as a wrap because we had like 200 and something mortgage.
Sure.
It's perfect. Gives me like $1,800 cash flow.
That's
Ah.
awesome. So good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
Well, Eva, I really appreciate the time to come and hear your story. You got amazing knowledge. If somebody is watching this and they're either working on deals, right, potential wrap deals that they could bring to you, they want to learn more or how they can work with you, how can they reach out to you?
okay, so they can come to my Facebook, look for Iva Norris, and
Hmm.
I'm there all over and talk about my deals and stuff and the things that I'm looking for.
Hmm.
And of course, I can send you my contact as well. And I'm here to make some deals. There's is hardly no deal I cannot close
Yeah,
because if the seller is motivated, we're gonna close this deal.
love it. That's
Yeah.
so good. Thanks so
Awesome.
much, Eva. Really
Thank you.
great to
Thank you
get
so
to know you.
much.
Thank you
Yes.
guys for watching and listening. Feel free to leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Until the next episode, I will catch you later. Peace.